So Caitlin Clark was playing in a game against, what's the name of the other team?
It doesn't even matter.
Okay, it doesn't Chicago,
matter.
Thank you, Chicago. Let's show it. Let's show it again. So this girl comes up to her from behind.
The ball is nowhere near them.
Nowhere
so there's
near
an inbound
her.
pass about to come. Like, that makes no sense. If having watched and played basketball, it just makes no sense that you do that.
It was her expressing her anger. That's what was happening there.
Yeah.
This wasn't play. This was, I'm angry with you. Here's what she's claiming now.
Going back and forth, it's basketball, it's all hoops. After we finish the game, it's all up. I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is.
It's just rough on the court, but it's all off the court. But listen to this. July of 2021, Kennedy Carter was suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. Carter got into an argument with another player on the Dream, Courtney Williams, who asked her to improve her attitude during a game. After the game ended, Carter went up to Williams in the locker room, telling her she wanted.
It's crazy that 177% of all fouls in the entire Irish League were committed against just one player, especially in Caitlin Clark's first season. Her amazing play made her a target for rough fouls, and it shows that WNBA referees need to step up and protect her better.
They were up in the first quarter. The Fever getting their first win last night in Los Angeles. That's got to be pretty tough, I would think, on Caitlin to just really be patient with herself and with her team.
And that's not a virtue of Caitlin's. She's competitive and she wants excellence and she wants it now, and that's what makes her great.
This isn't just a few bad calls. It's like there's a campaign against Caitlin Clark, with biased referees like Marcy Williams giving in to pressure from WNBA stars and others who don't want to see her succeed. Caitlin came into the league with confidence, but instead of celebrating this rising talent, referees have made her a target. It's almost as if there's an unwritten rule that she shouldn't thrive, and these refs are playing right along with it. Take that technical foul, for example. It's been the talk of the league.
They're getting into it.
Let's start with that technical foul that everyone's talking about.
We saw the play in the third quarter where Carter kind of decked you. How do you respond to that and stay within yourself?
I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Just let them hit you, be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head and know it's coming. I think at this point, I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Caitlin Clark got hit with a controversial technical foul just for slamming the backboard, a call that seemed more about trying to silence her than about anything else. But here's the thing. Caitlin Clark doesn't back down. She's not about to let these refs, or the pressure from established players, intimidate her and force her to lose her integrity on the court. Clark was in full control, doing what she does best, leading her team and racking up points. But just when it looked like she was about to take over, D.A. Carrington made a move that shocked everyone. It looked like she was going for the ball, but instead, she delivered a brutal poke to Clark's midsection.
Clark in pain after she caught that fingertip in the eye.
Caitlin Clark immediately grabbed her face, clearly in pain, and it was obvious something was seriously wrong. This wasn't just a little bump. She took a direct hit, and she was struggling to even see straight. But what did the referee do? Absolutely nothing. No whistle, no stoppage of the game, just a complete disregard for what had just happened. It was as if the referees were choosing to look the other way, letting the play slide, despite the obvious injury to one of the league's rising stars.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana can challenge here.
The game continued as if nothing had happened, while Caitlin tried to recover, fighting through the pain and struggling to regain her focus. This wasn't just a simple mistake. It was a clear decision by the referees to let an obvious foul slide, and it had a major impact on Caitlin's performance. You could see the difference almost immediately. She wasn't attacking the basket with her usual aggression, her shots were off, and her sharp court vision was clearly compromised. That eye poke threw her off her rhythm, and the referees did nothing to stop it. In the end, the Fever lost 93-69, but it wasn't just a loss on the scoreboard. It was a loss of integrity from the officials who should have been there to protect players like Caitlin Clark, and it's a tough look for the league when superstars are being left vulnerable without the proper protection from the refs.
First game of the season here in this building, Ryan, is when that blitz comes to Caitlin Clark, how she is able to deliver the basketball to Aaliyah Boston.
You see the numbers for Clark on the season. Led the league in assists, averaged more than 19 points per game. Turn around, Holly.
It's clear that the referees, particularly Marcy Williams, allowed Caitlin Clark to be treated unfairly on the court, and it's beyond frustrating. Instead of protecting the rookie, she was left exposed to physical abuse, pushed, hacked, and tormented, because the officials were too afraid of upsetting the league's established stars. Rather than stepping up to do what was right, they compromised Caitlin's safety, choosing to let her take the hits instead of risking backlash from those in power. This wasn't just about missing a call. It was about enabling a culture where new talent like Caitlin is treated as expendable. The ref's failure to protect her wasn't an oversight. It was a clear decision to side with the status quo and keep the bigger names happy, even if it meant allowing a player's safety and confidence to be sacrificed. The targeting of Caitlin Clark was as obvious as it was painful to watch, and it's a shame that those in charge chose not to step in when it mattered most.
And kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am. So yeah.
You're absolutely right. This isn't just poor officiating. It's a deliberate choice to protect the established stars at the expense of emerging talent like Caitlin Clark. The fans aren't blind to what's happening. They can see the favoritism and the unnecessary pressure being placed on a rookie who's simply trying to make her mark in the league. When officials like Marcy Williams fail to protect players like Caitlin, it's more than just a missed call. It's an intentional decision to shield the status quo from disruption. And you're also spot on about Williams' track record. This isn't her first time being involved in controversy. But this time, the line was crossed. The fear of upsetting the established order is clouding judgment, and it's not just affecting Caitlin, but the integrity of the game itself. By refusing to protect a rising star, you're ultimately undermining the league, not preserving it. Instead of fostering growth and excitement, you're stifling it, turning the WNBA into a place where the new talent gets no chance to thrive. This approach is doing more harm than good. Marcy Williams' officiating has shown a pattern of unfair calls, and it's becoming clearer with Caitlin Clark. Last season, she objected Sabrina Ionescu for a minor dispute, showing she's more about control than fairness. Now with Caitlin, it's worse. She's letting Clark be treated poorly on the court by allowing fouls and not stepping in to protect her. The numbers speak for themselves. Caitlin is being fouled more than anyone else in the league, with 177% of all fouls committed against her. This isn't a coincidence. It's bias. It seems like a message to Caitlin. Don't rise too fast. This isn't about fair play anymore. It's about holding her back because she's a threat to the established stars.
Indiana Fever in the Chicago Sky here from Wintrust Arena. The Fever have really stretched out this one.
Caitlin Clark has been fouled repeatedly this season, and the referees keep ignoring it. It feels like they're letting her take the hits without doing anything to protect her.
Inside, McDaniel draws a double, forced it up, rims it off. Another missed layup, and Caitlin Clark is hurt. Not sure what happened. And she walks to the sideline on her own. She may have taken an elbow.
In a high-profile game against the New York Liberty, Caitlin Clark was driving toward the basket when a Liberty defender threw a hard elbow to her face. The force of the impact left her stumbling and visibly shaken. The crowd held its breath, waiting for a foul called that never came. The refs watched as it happened and chose to ignore it, letting play continue. Fans were furious, and it's hard to call this fair officiating when such an obvious foul is overlooked.
Here's Caitlin Clark driving. She's got the first 5 points. Wow.
Caitlin Clark was sprinting down the court when Wilson shoved her hard, sending Caitlin crashing into the first row of seats. It was a dangerous play that could have caused serious injury. But once again, the refs didn't call anything. You could see Caitlin's frustration as she picked herself up, clearly wondering why she wasn't getting the same protection as other players. The harsh reality is that the refs seem to be afraid afraid of backlash from the WNBA superstars who don't want to see Caitlin take the spotlight.
What a pep to their step right now. Game's really injury. And that's the way to push the ball in transition.
In the game against the Los Angeles Sparks, Caitlin Clark was hacked and grabbed repeatedly. As she drove to the basket, her arms were clawed at and her shirt was pulled, yet the refs didn't call a single foul in her favor. Despite being right there, they chose to look the other way, allowing her to be brutalized on the court. This wasn't just poor officiating, it was a blatant display of bias. The refs didn't want to face the wrath of the veteran players on the rival team, and Caitlin ended up with bruises, unable to fully showcase her skills.
The great pass from Caitlin Clark, head up, just the velocity.
All these incidents have clearly taken a toll on Caitlin Clark's gameplay. She came into the league as a highly promising rookie, but how can she perform at her best when she's constantly being attacked without any protection from the officials? The referees are not just allowing the physical hits, they're undermining her confidence. Every move, every shot, every play is now questioned by her because of the constant fouls going unnoticed. This isn't just physical abuse, it's psychological warfare. And what's worse is the WNBA's silence on this issue. By not addressing the biased officiating, the league is allowing this behavior to continue. Caitlin is being punished for being great, for daring to rise quickly as a rookie. The refs are letting her get attacked because they're too afraid to challenge the league's bigger stars. Instead of upholding the integrity of the game, they're protecting their own interests.
What they came for.
Oh my goodness, it never gets old.
The real driving force behind this bias is fear. These refs are terrified of the huge backlash they face from the WNBA superstars if they dare to call the game fairly. Players like Ja Wilson and Rihanna Stewart have built their legacies over years, and they're not going to let a rookie like Caitlin Clark come in and overshadow them. They'll apply pressure, and everyone knows it. If a referee dares to protect Caitlin or call a foul on those players, they'll feel the heat in every game they officiate. Instead of standing their ground, these refs cave in. They'd rather let Caitlin take hits on the court than risk offending these big-name players. We've all seen what happens when officials don't toe the line. Players lash out, coaches protest, and the whole league turns against you. These refs are cowards. They've chosen their personal interests over the safety and fairness of a player who's nothing but exciting and talented for the WNBA.